All right, and welcome to another episode of Closet Talk. I'm your host, Ethan. How you guys doing this fine Tuesday? I don't know if you'll be hearing this on a Tuesday, but it's Tuesday right now. My day's been pretty damn good. What a great time to be alive. Spring is coming out. It's a nice 57 degrees outside. I'm loving the weather. I've had a great Tuesday so far. What a great time to be alive. Be able to talk to people and just experience all these things going on. There's been no better time to be alive than that. Remember, well, you probably don't remember. I don't remember. But there used to be a time in our history where you had to go out and you had to find food. You didn't know where it was going to come from. You might end up with just like a chipmunk, right? And that had to feed your family for like a week. Now you can just go down to the store, get a bag of Doritos, do whatever it is to make you happy. What have I been doing today? Well, I'd say the last hour right now, I've been procrastinating recording this podcast because that fear started to set in. That little bit of fear of like, oh, what if I fail? What if what I'm saying isn't interesting? What if blah, blah, blah? It's funny how your brain will turn on you like that in an instant, just try to talk you out of everything that could make your life a little bit better. And I started reminding myself why I'm doing this, and it's just for fun. Right? This doesn't have to be anything. This isn't my job. Nobody's paying me to do this, right? So even if I did fail or it was shit, there's no negative ramifications except somebody's just like, meh, that sucked. And it's just like, whatever. So yeah, can't fail. Gonna just enjoy doing this. It's still taking me a second to get used to dedicating 20 minutes a day to record myself talking to a computer screen. Podcasting by yourself is different because like you don't have anybody else to engage with. It's up to your own brain to figure everything out. But that's how human potential unfolds, right? As soon as you let go of all those negative things keeping you down and all those little voices in your head, you got to get good at identifying the voices in your head that are trying to fuck with you and destroy what you really are capable of doing. So it's March 27th. It's the day before Burning Man. Tickets go on sale. Hopefully I reach some burners out there. I'm really hoping that I get to go out there this year. I was out there last year and it was so much fun. You literally see human potential at like its greatest. Everybody coming together for art and taking care of one another. It's like an experimental city. A lot of people have this notion of that it's some drug, fueled just rave party out in the desert. And even after researching Burning Man for 3 years trying to go out there, when I got out there, it was still nothing like I had thought in my head. You put these ideas and you kind of form some little story or imagination little scenario in your head, and then I got out there and it was nothing like that. It was great. There is something for everybody out there. So if you're hearing this and you have not been out there, I would highly recommend checking it out. It's getting bigger and better, and just the artwork out there is amazing. This year's Burning Man theme is iRobot, and I'll be honest, I wasn't really into the theme, but nor did I give it a really fair chance to try to understand what it is. And when I was on that hike with my lady, we just started talking about, building a piece of art. A robot in a top hat that's just like covered in shiny mirrors, and it sings to you. Like the showman that I am. It's got to do some type of performance. It can't just stand there, right? Maybe hold like a big incense in one hand, shoot fire out of the other. Some crazy thing like that. But that's really what sparked it. I was like, oh man, that's how you can get into a theme that you're not really particularly engaging with. Build an art project. Build something. Go out there and participate. For fuck's sake, participate. The more you participate, the better your time will be. I can promise you that if you find your way out there. Hopefully I find my way out there this year. That would be great. So I wanted to start this podcast with a quote from one of my favorite psychedelic explorers, Terence Mckenna. If you don't know who Terence Mckenna is, chances are you're not very experienced with psychedelics. And even if you aren't, but you know who he is, great. Great dude. He had a lot of progressive ideas for his time, and he used to talk a lot about psychedelics and how they influence us and our culture, all that stuff. So the quote from him that I wanted to share with you guys today was, and this also kind of falls under the human potential thing I was just talking about. The quote is, "You have to take seriously the notion that understanding the universe is your responsibility, because the only understanding of the universe that will be useful to you is your own." That is so true, right? Think about it. Anytime somebody, maybe it's just me because I'm a kind of stubborn, but anytime someone tells you to do something, like, I always have a question in my head, like, why? Why should I? Like, is that just because that's the preset rules? Like, that's what I'm supposed to be following? Who said that that was the right way to do it? My dad always told me that you should go through your own experiences and form your own opinions. Come to your own conclusions. There's too much information out in the world. And, another thing that Terence said is that everybody's playing this game of follow the leader, but there is no leader. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on, right? We're all just kind of sitting here trying to make something of this. The world is crazy right now. I mean, everybody's on some new issue, whether it's, gun violence and laws and restrictions or the fucking president. I mean, does anybody even believe any of the shit that's being handed to us anymore? Because I feel like everybody's just kind of browsing over the same material, but nothing's really happening. Like, we're not really, we're progressing, like, technological wise, but what about, like, as a society? Like, how are things getting any better out there? Are they getting any better? I'd like to believe that they are, but maybe I'm just not seeing it, or maybe I'm only seeing what I want to see out of it. I was at the gym the other day, and it was all over the news that, like, this giant bridge had, like, collapsed on these people in an SUV. I think they were, like, students or something. And it collapsed down on top of them, and, like, some of them were injured, and it was really horrible. And then the follow-up story to that was Stormy Daniels. She's in fear for her life. They're not even getting the fucking storyline straight. You just had people that were physically injured. Their lives were really in danger, trapped under a bridge. Who knows if they were going to get out, be able to see their family, right? Go down to the Starbucks, get a Frappuccino. They didn't know. They were just trapped under, like, all this cement. And they're like, oh, well, this could be the end. And then here you have this other person and in fear for her life because she blew some dude or whatever she did. I don't know. I try not to get too much into this politics shit because I don't read anything but the headline, which is probably the worst way to try to convey some news that you heard. Yeah, just read the headline. The crazy part to me is why people even watch it. Why are they even buying into it? Are people just bored? I think people are just bored. That's what it is. Everybody's just bored, so they're just kind of looking in a direction for somebody to tell them what they should be doing with their time. But you should be doing with your time what you want to do. One thing Terence Mckenna used to say that I really love is, if you don't have a plan, you become part of somebody else's plan. That's what a job is, right? Somebody has some grand idea for a company selling whatever, and you're not doing anything, so you might as well jump on board with that, so that way you can have a paycheck to care for your family and go on trips and do all these things that just kind of fill some little hole, I think. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just full of shit. I don't know, but I do think that if people stopped falling into these traps, I guess, the way that culture and society has told us that we're supposed to live, and everybody actually, from at an early age too, like a kid's age, you were allowed to express yourself freely and engage in the activities that you were genuinely interested in. We would be creating a culture and a society that has more quality to it, right? Now all of a sudden this person that's building you a nice Danish coffee table loves building coffee tables, right? The person that is making your food has a passion for making food. That would make the quality of our society tremendously better, in my opinion. I'll be honest, for the last 28 years, I have been so sucked into that trap. You know what's funny? Like when you don't do the things that you were raised, like taught you were supposed to do, you get that feeling, just like you feel like a piece of shit or something. Oh, I didn't go to work, or oh, I didn't graduate high school, and you kind of get like that feeling of like, oh, I'm messing up. It's more fear, I guess. That's what it is. That's what that feeling is. It's fear. Fear of like, oh, what's going to happen to me? That is a terrible way to live. That is a terrible feeling to just carry around, especially if you really have something else that you want to do, like paint or skateboard or do stand-up comedy. I'm doing stand-up comedy tonight, actually. I'll be out in Truckee at the Alibi Works. It's like a little beer place, and it should be a fun show. I'm actually getting ready to leave up there soon. See, just busy. Woke up today, made a little bit of money, working with my friend who's actually running his own business right now, repairing and installing fitness equipment, and he brings me along with him, and he's teaching me the tricks of the trade. I don't really have a passion for fitness equipment per se, but I do like to fix things and work on things and actually use my brain, and he actually treats me like a human being. So, you see, there is other outlets that you could take. There's other things you could be doing. It's just hard to kind of abandon everything that you were taught is right to go down a path of uncertainty. You know, it's scary. It's going to be you're going to be eating a lot of top ramen and mac and cheese, you know, because you don't know where your money's coming from. But I promise you, it's going to pay off if you just stick with it. So if you don't have a plan, you become part of somebody else's plan. So what's my plan right now? Well, my plan so far is if I don't feel like doing it, I'm just not going to do it. Simple as that. If you don't feel like doing it, don't do it. I mean, within reason, let's be reasonable here, but also at the same time, there's a lot of things that I have said yes to that I didn't really particularly care about, and then at the end of the day, I just felt like shitty because I felt like I wasted time, you know, and you don't get that time back. The way I see it is, okay, I'm 28, and if I stay focused on the things that I want to do, and I'm not talking like a short-term sprint, I'm talking like a marathon. If I literally keep working towards the things that I want to do, eventually it's going to pay off. It has to at some point. There is no other option. You become what you think about all day long. I forget who said that. I probably shouldn't say quotes if I can't give the person their credit. But yeah, that's very true. And it's funny because as soon as, like, if you really pay attention to your narrative. That's a big one. If you pay attention to your narrative, what are you telling yourself about yourself every day? You know, because it's usually the days that I wake up and I'm like, I feel good, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And at the end of the day, after everything is done, I feel so good. And then I can party and do whatever it is I want to do. You know, but it was recognizing that potential in myself that, okay, I have what it takes to do these things. I have what it takes to run my own business. I have what it takes to, you know, make money for myself and support myself while I'm on this planet. You know, nothing dramatic is going to happen just because I'm not following a certain set of rules. The human potential is completely unlimited. You literally become what you think about. So if you have something that you like to do, I would recommend that you do that. And I would love to hear your story. And who knows, maybe you've already done this and, you know, you've done it probably a little bit bigger than I have. I would love to hear your story and your input on this, because this subject is fascinating to me, how some people literally quit the 9-to-5 and then they just live by doing what they love, and then other people feel stuck and trapped and that they want to do that, but they can't necessarily find their outing. And for me, I didn't really find an outing. I just made one. I just said, fuck this, I'm not doing that anymore, and I'm just going to do this. You just kind of figure things out as you go along. Shit, that's what I'm fucking still doing with this podcast. I Literally, I have I'm sitting in a closet. That's why this is called Closet Talk. I'm literally sitting in a closet. Why am I sitting in a closet? Because of the acoustics, obviously. No. I'm sitting in a closet because that's the space that I have available. But my urge to talk to people and hear what other people are saying about these particular topics, that drives me a little bit more than the fact of, all right, I have to sit in a closet. Instead of saying I have to sit in a closet, fuck that, I'm going to say, no, I'm just going to sit in a closet because I want to hear what people are saying. I want to hear your opinions. I want some feedback. I have a whiteboard next to me, right? I have my computer, I'm sitting on a toolbox. That's what I'm doing. I'm literally sitting on a toolbox, like hunched over. I'm 6'1". I just feel like this gigantic ass giant in like a little hobbit hole. But I'm doing it, and like I said, this is just for fun. I'm having fun doing it. So it doesn't have to be anything. But do you have a plan? Do you have something that you're working towards? Are you at a shit job but see you're outing because you need to make so much money to get there? Or what is your plan? I'd like to hear it. I'd like to see what other people are doing along this mindset, because it's just fascinating to me that like human potential doesn't cease to stop growing. Like it just keeps going and going and going, like the Energizer Bunny. You remember those commercials? I haven't seen one of those in forever. So yeah, please, if you guys would like to respond or tell your story a little bit about how you formed your own plan instead of becoming part of somebody else's, I would love to hear it. You can submit all your questions, comments, and your story to closettalkwithethan@gmail.com, and I will review them. And I'm also on the Anchor app. You can find me on the Anchor app, Closet Talk with Ethan. And on there, if you're on there, I can actually do a call-on-call interview with you, which would probably be nice. So that way I don't have to sit here and listen to just myself talk the whole time. I can actually have a conversation with somebody. That would probably be a little bit more interesting. Maybe. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. This is only the second one, but if I could do 18 to 20 minutes a day, that's better than doing 0 minutes a day and just thinking about doing a podcast. So that's part of my plan, is just do my podcast, do my stand-up, keep progressing in the relationship with my girl, and just keep trying to do better. That's what it is. Day by day, just try to do a little bit better than yesterday. Kick yourself in the ass. I didn't go to the gym today, but I have been taking my vitamins. Right? That's better than taking Wheaties. I've been taking my vitamins consistently, right? You start taking vitamins at 28, you're going to be shredded in like your 60s, right? Just be that salt and peppered haired dude that can do the one-arm pull-up, Anyways, so yeah, please, thank you guys so much for listening, and please submit your story. I'd love to hear it. And thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, if you don't have a plan, you become part of somebody else's plan.